think I'm gonna do a video today. I gotta get my truck, I gotta get it back together. I gotta get safety, and I need one thing. The upper ball joints on the control arm are going, so they won't pass it on to safety. And to change the ball joints, you have to buy the control arm. Oh, there. So I got some new control arms. I ordered them. At AutoZone in the States, they're $108 each. I think they are 100 and something. And I got for $65 out of California. I got 2 of them. So that's the road I'm going. But it's freezing outside today. Damn, rained all weekend. Couldn't do it. It's supposed to be. What's in there? Grease nipple's supposed to be in here somewhere. There it is. Don't want to lose that. So my truck's outside, and I've had my other Avalanche in here. It's warm in here. I got the furnace on, so I like to get the truck in here. But if I pull it in this way, I can only do the left front, and then I'd have to take it out, back it in, and do the right front over here. And I got a lot of crap in here. I'd have to take the saw, put the saw outside, which I can do. Be a lot warmer to do it in here. I could do it outside. It's probably, I don't know what the temperature is, 40, 30, no, it's 30, 40, yeah, it's about 40 degrees out. 37, 38, 40 degrees, 42 degrees. It's just cold. But the other issue is too, I got an asphalt driveway, and every time I jack my truck up on the asphalt driveway, the jack sinks into the asphalt and leaves holes. And even putting the jack stands in too, they'll sink in. So I got to put everything on plywood when I'm working out there. So I got to clean all this out to work over here to do the front left. I think I'll do that first. I think I'll push everything outside and start there. Just such a big mess. I got so much going on. I don't have to build a wall over here anymore on this side because I've got all this blue foam insulation. I got enough to do that whole wall, so I'm just gonna kind of staple that to the door. And then it's starting to get cold out every day. And then this door, you can see daylight under here. I'm gonna take the rubber strap off of that one and fix the weather guard on that door. And I gotta finish insulating that door. Okay, let me get the saw and everything out of here, get the truck in. There's two ways of doing this, I believe. A1 Auto, they show you pulling out the whole strut there, shock. I'm not going to do that. If I had a new one, I would. So I probably need one. But I'm going to try to pull it out with the strut in place. And what happens here is the bolt might hit the spring. So I might have to pry the spring out of the way a little bit or compress it a little bit. Yeah, that one's probably going to hit for sure on that side. But I'm going to see if I can avoid taking that strut out. Worst case scenario, I can just undo the bottom of it and then pivot it out of the way. I'm not going to take it right out. Either way, I'm not going to take it right out. So at this point, what you want to do is this adjusts your wheel alignment here. It's like a cam. This collar that sits on the bolt, there's one on the inside and outside, on both sides. There's a little pin here that this collar rides in. You can see the little slot. See if I get my camera over here a little better. Yeah, right there. So you want to mark this. I'm going to wire brush this all off clean, and you can put a marker on it, a punch mark on it, a slash on it, whatever you want, but you want to put these things exactly back on the way they came off. So that's my first thing, is I'm going to mark all four of them. There's one on the, geez, get my phone upside down here. There's one on the inside right there, and two more over here. So I'll get those all marked, cleaned up and marked. Okay. There's also a 10mm bolt right here that's holding on the ABS sensor and the brake line. So I'm going to pull that off as well too. I should have did that first. Let me get myself. Just before I go too far, let me just double check I got the right control arm. Looks like it, but before you get it all ripped apart, may as well double check right now. And there's a left and a right, and this says left right on. There's an L right there, so it's nicely marked. It's going to work. It's going to be a tight squeeze to get it in there. I noticed this is made in China, this one. This section here is not nearly as beefy as the stock one. Yeah, the whole thing isn't as beefy. Wire brush this up. Nice to get these right out of the way. I've got a little wire brush somewhere. There's a good place right there to put a slash mark. I got a smaller wire brush I gotta get. Undid this castle nut under the ball joint here. It's 18mm or 11/16. Got that off, turned it off almost all the way, just left it hang in there so when I break this free, this caliper doesn't fall down. Some people can just bang it with a hammer and it pops out, but I've never had that kind of luck. I'm just going to stick a fork in there. That'll do it. Get my fucking hand in there. Sometimes you get a little rap, it'll pop. There we go. Okay, now tricky part is to see if I can get the bolts out without hitting the springs. I think I can get this one out, I think. It's gonna hit that spring. What about this one? This one's gonna hit the spring too, I'm pretty sure. I need something to tap that collar back in there. Gonna hit this spring too, so I might have to undo the shock. This one I know I could get out with the shock compressor. This one's gonna be tight. Well, let me undo the two shock strut bolts. There's the two lower shock bolts down there. I just lubed them up a little bit there, and I think it's a 9/16 or 15 millimeter bolts. I'm going to zap them out so I can move the pull the strut back a little bit to push the bolts out in here. That's what I'm going to do next. Hi, man. Need my little pry bar to pry that over a little bit. Okay. Oh, come on. Need some grease on that thing. Okay. Let's get this over far in there. keep that collar out of the way at the same time. Collars get so rusted on there. Okay, let me screw around with this. I forgot to turn the video on. I took the 3 shock nuts off the top. The strut nuts on the top, they're off. So the shock would drop down a little bit so I get those 2 bolts out. It's a pain. I was hoping not to do that. I saw some guys were able to push it through the springs, but these are pretty heavy duty springs on this Avalanche. These are heavy trucks. I think they're heavier springs than the Silverados. So couldn't take the shortcut. Yeah. This is the ball joint here. Yeah, she's pretty loose. Oh yeah, feel it playing there. I can feel it in and out, in and out. That's shot. Up a little bit here. I need new, I can see I need new struts. Like, holy crap, those are done. Tempted to call right now and man. So I'm gonna call, see if I can find a cheap pair of struts. This always happens to me. Nothing is simple. Nothing is easy. The ball joint's gone on the control arm. Well, you can't just buy the ball joint, you got to buy the whole control arm, right there. So I got that, and that ball joint is bad. It was bad. It's loose, really loose. And I get this strut out, and look at the corrosion. Like, look at the corrosion. Like, it's almost, it looks like it's going to eat right through it. You know, it hasn't burst yet. It's not leaking oil. Still works. It's a stiff ride, though. Like, it's really rotted out. That's really pitted in there. Like, that's pretty bad. So, I'm in Canada. Across the bridge here in Sarnia, I can buy this shock for the strut for $59. I'm trying to buy local. I called CarQuest here, $259. $259. So even at $59 US, with 33% difference in the dollar, 30% to 33, it's probably going to be 80 bucks, $82. Still way less than half price. Plus their taxes are only 6%, their ours are 13%. So you save another, what's that, 7% there? I don't know. Yeah. So I wasn't planning on doing this today, so I got to whip across there, get some struts, compress this, take it apart, and put a new shock in there. That's what I'm going to do. It's no point doing it twice. You know, it's pretty rotted out. That's probably the original one. Sure looks like the original one. So that's 12 years old. That's what I'm going to do. Put this on hold, go get those. I took the strut out. Didn't videotape it. Probably should have. I have, these are McPherson Strut compressors. And this is a real cheap set. They're like 20 bucks. And, you know, bends the rod, wasn't compressing enough, so I went and bought another set. These are a lot better set here. A lot more heavy duty. And I was able to compress it enough to get it apart. And, because I was really worried about this. This is pretty rotted out. And you can even see some cracks in here. But glad I'm changing, because there's no compression left in there. It's done. This thing should be popped out all the time. It takes compression to put it in there. So this, and it's kind of jammed right there too. So yeah, this is done. So I got 2 new ones coming in this afternoon. I'm gonna go get them and change them as well too. These are really heavy-duty springs on this thing, heavier than my last vehicle I did. Heavier than the BMW. I think I put new ones in there too. I put new ones in my last Avalanche. They weren't this thick, because these things don't even fit over the springs properly. So I got 4 I got 4 compressors on right now to keep that thing together. So I got to get these new ones in before I can go any farther. But I want to bring this one with me. Make sure I get the right one. Okay, we'll finish this up this afternoon. While I'm waiting for the shock to come in, I'm going to put the control arm back in. Hopefully. Yeah, because this is what looked tight to me when I was looking at this. Oh yeah, see that? You can see this bushing here is pushed in right tight on this one. And the bushing on this one is still got quite a bit of a space right here and here. I don't know how easily that's going to tap in. I can put it in my press and press it in. Yeah, that's got to be pressed in more. Huh. No way that's going to go. This has got to be pressed in more. Yeah, put that on my press. I thought this was going to be just a quick little video I do today. 15-20 minutes. Couple bolts, pull this out, slide the new one in. It's getting deeper by the minute. Hopefully these will press in. Not comfortable with that. Get that a little straighter. Like that. like that. No. Let's see here. Problem it's hitting right here, so. Like that. Needs to be up a little bit like that. Or maybe like that. Not really catching it square here on the back. There she goes. Let me see how that fits. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do the other side. These about 1/8 of an inch on each side. Try that. The plot gets thicker. Okay, that's gonna fit good. This in here now. Okay. Now that fits in there. Okay. I could put a little grease on there. You don't want to really grease it too much on the outside because then that cam might slip, but the ball joint on here has an Allen head on the bottom. I'm not sure what the size of this is. tells you there. Oh my God, what's this say? 6 millimeter. Mine's too long, so I got to hacksaw it off to fit in there. One more thing. Okay, just cut it off with my grinder and run it through the bench grinder. Buff it up a little bit because I can't tighten it up. It's spinning on me. Okay, so there's that. Almost like 18 millimeter. Yeah, you guys can't see a damn thing, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter, it's my truck. These are a locking nut, where the other one was a castle nut, so this is tight threading on all the way. That's why you need to hold it with the Allen wrench. Yeah, the other one was locked in with a cotter key, not this one. It's hard to hang on to that sucker. Put a wrench on here. Okay. Put some grease in here and grease in here. I don't know if there's a fitting on the bottom. And then just put my strut back in. Yeah, I watched a bunch of videos on guys doing. One guy did it outside in the snow and the rain, I think out near Winnipeg somewhere. You know, another guy's doing it on a hoist. You know, and it went so easily for all of them, but you watch my videos, nothing goes easily for me. Now we'll put this, whoops, we'll put this bolt back in too for the ABS line here, speed sensor line, 10 mil. I always run into problems. I had to go buy another McPherson strut, so I got 4 of them on there. Had to press these things in on this aftermarket control arm. For control, just snug that up, that's it. Okay, let me get some grease in here. I'm not sure what time it is now. 7, 8, no. Yeah, probably 8 o'clock. Hockey game's over the first period. Just got back from the States and got the replacement shocks. They were $59 US each. And when I got there, I said I only got $100. I'll have to use my credit card for part of it because that's all the American money was in the bank machine. And the guy said, well, it's only $95. You get $40 off if you buy 2. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They went $257 for one of these. For the Avalanche. Unbelievable. Anyways, I'm going to get this back together. Get one of them back together tonight and finish it tomorrow. Kind of weird. All right. Need some gloves. You know, I don't see a ball bearing in this one. I didn't film much of it because it's getting late at night, but I got the shock back in the strut there and the spring. Got it all bolted in. This piece was missing when I bought the truck on left and right because the guy had such big tires on it. It was rubbing in here, so he cut it out. So I got a plastic bumper there from Peter, and I'm going to screw this inside there. Screw that all in there for the winter time, because otherwise this will just fill up with ice and snow. I've got to fill this in right now. It could get snow any day. But that's it. That side's all back together. Tomorrow I'll tackle the other side. It's got to be easier than this side. And now that I got all the tools out, right size wrenches, low battery mode. Okay, that's it for tonight. Get my Avalanche on the road.